Gonna make a quick FL tutorial for anybody who just got it. Shout out to my old pal JR, and also Doomhauer. So let's get started. So this is the browser where you can load all your sounds. FL Studio, any version you get is going to be, it's going to come with stock sounds. So you can also you can download tons of sounds from the internet, and the way you would do that, you go to where you've downloaded your FL Studio. So I have mine on my storage drive, so I'd click storage drive. It should say program files x86, I believe, so click that. Click which FL you have. Gosh, I have 4 different FL Studios. So I really like FL Studio 11 for no reason. I think it's just because I've used it for so long. Anyways, that's not important. We'll click FL Studio, go to data. Now this is where you can look up project files of songs you've already made, but we're going to go into patches. We're going to go to packs. When you go to packs, that's where you can download sounds off of the internet and drag them to this folder. And what I like to do is you can right click in the blank space and put new folder, or new shortcut. And you can make a shortcut to put on your desktop so you don't have to go through all those steps I just showed you. Basically, if you can make a shortcut to move any sounds, do it, because it just makes it a lot easier instead of clicking through this and this and this and that just to get there. It took me a long time to remember this, but I'll walk it through, because if you're using FL Studio for the first time, you have to do this to make the shortcut. So go to where you downloaded your FL Studio, click it. Should be program files x86, click that. Click the FL Studio that you're using. I use 11. Data, patches, packs. That's how you add sounds. And I'll talk about more of that kind of thing, but let's get into it. So this is one of the most important parts, is the step sequencer. Step sequencer is a little different on the new FL, on FL21. It's a bit different. On this one, you can use this module here to switch it up to 16 bars. That way, on FL Studio, you can just click your way into oblivion and make it as long as you want, which is kind of nice. But on FL11, you can switch it to 16 bars here on this little module here. I like to set everything on 16 bars just to have a little extra wiggle room. And then if you have your sounds loaded and everything, you can drag a hi-hat or whatever. We'll just add a hi-hat, and you just click and drag it right into the step sequencer, and you can see it right there. And you can right click it, put it every 2 steps, so it'll fill every 2 steps just like that, all the way across. Here, I'll put it back to 8 bars just to make it a little less overwhelming. So switch it to 8 bars, a little bit smaller, and then this orange light signifies whether it'll play the pattern. So the pattern being just what you're making on this, pattern 1. And if you click green, that's the song. This is how you build your song. So you'll make patterns, and you can use the pencil tool to just click and drag where you want them. So now I have, let's put it to cell. I'll explain that later. So that's how you make, this is how you make the song. So I'm just putting hi-hats here so it'll play the song. This is my song. Oops. Also, big tip, if you have a sample that plays over and over again, you can just unclick. It'll say use loop points. You'll see these red lines on the sample. I think it does that in new FL2. You can just turn that light off. Don't use the loop points, and it should just sound normal now. So this is my song. that I have so far, just the hi-hats. So now this is the signifies what pattern we're on here. So we're on pattern 1. Pattern 1 is just hi-hats. Now we're going to go to 2. We're going to start working on pattern 2. So now same thing, the step sequencer for pattern 2, you can see it in the title right here. Pattern 2 comes up, and let's say we want a kick. Just a nice punchy kick. We'll just drag it wherever. It doesn't matter where you drag things. If you like to be organized, that's fine, but that doesn't really matter too much. So kick, we'll switch it to 8. We'll just keep everything 8 bars. And we'll do 4 steps, and it'll fill every 4 step instead of every 2. Like we did with the hats, that would be way too many kicks. So we'll do 4 steps. And now we can click. Since we're on pattern 2, now when we click, it'll put pattern 2 patterns down. We can drag them how we want. You want them nice and lined up. So here's what we got. Or I'll explain the pattern. So now I'm going to click pattern. It'll just play what I'm working on in the step sequencer at the time. So here. This is just the pattern. The orange light is the pattern. Green is song. Okay, now we got a nice house sounding beat. So pattern 2's done. Click and drag up to 3. Work on pattern 3, and we will add. Let's see. This has more of a house kind of feel to it. So maybe if there's a clap, there we go. It's a spicy clap. And we'll just put the clap. Let's see, let's keep everything 8 to keep it simple. So maybe on the first of each red pattern here, we'll put a clap on each one here. And we can just put this pattern down as is. You don't have to go too crazy with the claps, typically. So now when we play it, we got a nice club banger. Pretty simple. You can also add, just little sound effects. Drag it here, and also obviously you have all sorts of knobs to manipulate the sample. So I'll mess with the pitch. If you click and drag it down, brings the pitch down. If you turn the knob to the left, you can also mess with this. I forget what this one's called, multiplier or something. I always forget. I don't think I've ever looked up what this one means. I think it says MUL. I can't really read it. And then time stretch. I basically only use that for sampling. Maybe I can find a sample. So yeah, we got this drip sound. So maybe let's add pattern 4 is just a drip on this note. It's whatever you want it to be. There's no wrong way to make a project. I'm like the Bob Ross of this shit. There's no wrong way. Just do what you want. Maybe we'll put one on this first gray. Maybe put one on this first red. Like, it doesn't matter. You could just, you know what? You could just send it and just do that. See how that sounds. Just mess with it. Just throw the whole bucket of paint at the canvas sometimes. Okay, I didn't like that. So now I can just if you hold right click, you can just sweep it all out. There's all sorts of shortcuts you can look up. I'm not so great at the shortcuts. But yeah, first we'll just add like a subtle bloop. Alright, so here's the song so far. So I wasn't sure about that at first, but that's what's kind of nice about adding sounds. You kind of want to keep the listener, you don't want it to be too predictable sometimes. If you can make certain sounds unpredictable, so this one goes bloop, bloop, and then it rides out and you think it's done. There's this whole blank space where there's no bloops, and then it comes back in and it'll go bloop, bloop. But let's say after that, also you can double click and hold to select everything you're working on. You can hit Control C to copy it. Control V is to paste. Sometimes I like to scroll right to the end of it and then hit Command V because it'll put it away. If you hit Command V while you're looking at this, it'll just like overlap, and then you have to click and drag it out, and sometimes that can mess stuff up. So if you're pasting, go to like an empty spot like this, and then Control V, and it'll just go boop, boop. And you'll get good at it where you can just paste it like with no problem. Oh, also don't. Much better way to do this is Command Z. I think is to cut things. So if you paste something, oops, what did I just do? I don't know what I just did. Sup, Millie? Sup, Ted? Getting learnt. We're getting learnt right now. So yeah, Command V, paste it down, and then if you don't like what you just did, just hit Control Z. Cuts it. It's gone. That's the undo button. Control Z is to undo. And I don't know a lot of hotkeys, but I definitely want to sit down and learn them all. There's so many hotkeys to FL where you can literally speed run. You can literally speed run FL and make absolute hits. So here's what we got. We got the bloop. Alright, so now we need a melody. I feel like I should explain sampling. Here's let's see. So this will feel a little better since I actually cut these samples myself. Let's see. Wow, these are from 2017. So these samples are 7 years old. Damn. Crazy. So let's go to 9.6, which is, wait a minute. 9.6? That's bro's birthday. So we're gonna make a birthday beat. So samples. So I have Carry On My Wayward Son, Bachman Turner Overdrive, Santana, and Simon and Garfunkel. Which honestly is not a bad lineup for sampling. You want a bunch of random stuff. Sampling, you can do so much with it. You can make anything from any cut sound good as long as you know how to manipulate the sample. I'm just gonna do a simple loop. So over here, I should have explained this earlier. This button, it looks like a... Okay, so the first button is the song. This will show your song. This is the playlist button. Click that to make it appear, disappear. Playlist. This is the second button is your step sequencer button. This is where you build your patterns. This is the piano roll for the pattern you're on to get extra freaky with it, you know. So that's that little, it's that droop noise, that bloop noise, but now you can also, from the step sequencer, right-click the drip and go into piano roll that way. But yeah, this is your piano roll button. This is where you can take samples and just go crazy and make them sound, you know, like I can make a melody here. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, sampling. Carry on my wayward son. Great lineup. Okay, so over here is called Edison. It's a pair of scissors is the best way to remember it. Just remember the scissors pull up where you can cut stuff up. This is the table that you cut the samples on. So you can just click, once you click the scissors, this program called Edison pops up. This is where you chop up your samples. You can hear them loop with this infinity button. So which sample would you guys like to hear me mess with? We got Bachman Turner Overdrive. We got Kansas. We got, I'm pretty sure, Carlos Santana. So more guitar. And then Simon and Garfunkel. So what would you guys like to hear out of these four? What should I start sampling? Just as like a choose your own adventure type thing. Santana? All right. I vote. Okay, Santana. I was kind of hoping you guys would say Santana. All right. Ted voted Santana, and it's also his birthday. This was sampled on his one of his birthdays, his 2017 birthday. So we'll do Santana. So sampling, it's really not that hard. It does, it is overwhelming at first, but you'll kind of get the hang of it. So what I like to do, I throw a sample in here, and I hit the infinity just to hear it loop, if I can. So see how it loops now? If you don't have it on loop, it'll just play and stop. Having it on loop will have it auto play the loop. That's very important for cutting samples, at least for me. Currently eating mac and cheese, very good choice. This is some like oh, this is that rare Santana record. Oh yeah. Fire. Already fire. Alright, so yeah, you'll just listen through the song and you'll try to hear something that you can loop. You'll kind of have to mess with it. You'll have to play with the ends. You might have to hear the loop a million times. Okay, that sounds pretty good, but you want it to be as close as you can get it. And trial and error. I think we got it close enough, it might not work. So once you have it highlighted where you want it, you'll double click and click to select which chunk, which loop you can hear. So once you have the loop, this is very important. You click, it looks like the cursor and the mouse. That's what this button, and this is like another playlist button. I think this just takes you straight to the playlist, but we're focused on this. It looks like a cursor and a mouse. This button is very important. So once you have the loop you've selected, you click and hold, drag. See how it's dragging the live cut right now? You want to drag it into an empty spot into FL Studio. Drag it right there. Alright, so now we can normalize it. Normalizing the sample just makes it louder for the most part. I think it increases the bits or something. I don't know. I just work here. Normalizing typically just pumps it up. You can see that the sound file looks very quiet. Just normalizing gives it that pump. It pumps up the volume. It just makes the sample pop so you can hear it a little better. And also you can reverse it. You can also click this sound wave to hear it live. So you can do all sorts of weird stuff. I've never messed with the other stuff. I'm showing you the base level stuff that I know. There's still so much I don't know about FL Studio, but I'm just showing you stuff that you can use to become a producer in no time. Just basic type stuff. I just do basic stuff. I don't really do anything crazy. So normalize, pump that sample up. And then let's see, let's go to a fresh pattern. So 5 has nothing on it. How I do it, I just click the first note. Maybe drag it to, let's make this one a 16 bar. I think that'll work. It'll give it a chance for the sample to play out a little more. So click it again, back to this screen. So this is the time knob that I was talking about. We have a boss now, which is teen. We have a boss now, which is you, T-Nix. Uh, I'm no boss. I'm just a guy trying to show you how to do music crap because it's really fun. I recommend it to everybody. There's tons of free apps out there if you don't want to use FL Studio that you can just mess around with, and it's really fun. Trust me, you'll get sucked into it and you'll be making really weird stuff, and it's just fun to explore. But anyways, back to the sample. So click the sample to bring this screen up. This is how you manipulate and do a bunch of different things. You can arpeggiate, you can normalize it, reverse it, and there's so much more that I don't even know. But what we're gonna do with the sample, now that we have the loop, we're gonna right click this time knob. Let's try 4 bars. Let's see what happens. Like I said, it might not sound right. So we're back to the playlist. We'll put this sample here. There's also much better ways to do this, by the way. I'm just so stuck in my ways that this is how I do it. And that's okay. It's okay that I do it this way, even if there are better ways. I'm still doing it. That's the most important thing. Even if you don't know how to do things the absolute correct way or whatever, as long as you're doing the thing, that's the most important in my eyes. Dude, I'm feeling cloud nine right now. I just got a fresh haircut. I got a hour-long body massage, and then I ate some Baskin Robbins ice cream. I had a triple scoop. Cherry Jubilee, Very Berry, Strawberry, and Rainbow Sherbet on top. It was, I am feeling excellent. To anybody who's feeling down, get yourself a fresh haircut. I swear to God, there's something very psychological about a fresh haircut. You go to a fine establishment, shell out the money if you have to. Get yourself a really nice haircut from a professional that you would trust. A fine establishment. Get it, and you'll feel the confidence in no time. If they are good, yes, that's why I'm saying don't cheap out. Sometimes, so you can go to Great Clips. I do like Great Clips, but here's the thing: it's a gamble when you go to a place like that because it's just sometimes the haircut is great, but sometimes it's not. And I guess you can get that at other establishments too, but you should go to like a salon or a barber or something. At least try it out, because you'll at least be more. Okay, I'm getting off track here. So we're gonna play it with the sample. Okay, not too bad. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to equalize, because the sample, sometimes samples you want to kind of smooth them out so they go with the rest of the drums and stuff really good. So we'll click Santana. We'll click, this is the mastering or mixing channel, mixing board, whatever you want to call it. It looks like a graph. Click this graph, it's the far right. Out of these 5 buttons are one of the most important buttons. If you can remember these, and then maybe the scissor button, which is Edison, where you cut the samples. Those are probably one of the most important buttons up here. Um, yeah, yeah, for me it's February 14th. Whoa. Oh my God. Happy Valentine's Day, man. So I'm going to show you how to EQ real quick. So now we got Santana's clicked in. You can also see when buttons are clicked in. Like when I click them, you can see that they look pressed in. So Santana's pressed in. That's what we have selected. Click the graph. Right click any of these insert channels. I just start with insert one. Right click, link selected channels to this track. So now Santana is in this mixing track. And we can go over here, click this arrow, and we can find the Fruity Parametric EQ2, which is one of the most important things in FL Studio. I'll also walk through that again real quick because this is so important. So you click this, click Santana, mixing board, right click and link the selected channel to this track. So it's here in the mixing board. click this arrow and find, and you can, there's so many things you can do to manipulate this sample, but we're starting with the Fruity Parametric EQ2. This is my personal favorite for equalizing any samples or sounds. All right, so maybe let's go to pattern so we just hear the sample. All right, so there's some high end. You can hear the jingling, the jingle, jingle, jingle. So we'll maybe bring these down. So this side controls the high end of the sound. So maybe we'll bring those a touch down. See? You can hardly hear the jingling when I have this side down. But when I bring it up, a little hard on the ears. A little hard on the ears, so maybe let's smooth that out. Important side note, you don't want to get rid of all the high end, but if something is harsh, maybe just brush it down. Brush these two buttons down right here. Just kind of smooth that out a little bit. And obviously I'm going to put some bass on this, so the left hand side is the low end. So maybe we'll bring this down. We'll bring it down quite. I like to bring the low end down quite a lot when I'm using a sample that I've cut. See, and you'll mess around with them and see how they move. You'll see how, I mean, you can bring this one all the way over here. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff with equalizing. Like, it's all about experimenting. So when you're doing this, I want you to just hear how it sounds. Alright, so that sounds a little better. Now we'll hear it. The jingling didn't bother me at first, but now it is. So maybe we can find a different loop to cut. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Close enough. Yeah, there's a lot of trial and error with this method. There's easier ways too. You can learn all that stuff. This is just how I use FL Studio. So maybe set that one to 2 bars. That's kind of sick. Ooh. And sometimes it's kind of cheap, but sometimes if I'm using a sample, let's see, we'll put this on a different track. So this is the Santana 2 chop. Sometimes I like to EQ it where I bring out the bass and let the natural bass of the record come out. Alright, so that sounds pretty cool, actually. And also, another big part that I should have mentioned before, I feel like this is a staple here. This number, this 140, this is beats per minute. This determines how fast your track is moving, how fast the tempo of the song is. So this is at 140 beats per minute. Let's bring it, you can click and hold it and drag it down while holding it. You just keep holding it. So click, hold, drag, and slowly drag down. We'll bring it down to let's bring it down to 100 BPM. Just because it's a little fast for me. I like slower kind of beats. Let's turn this into a hip hop track. I kind of want to do that. Alright, so this hats are good for hip hop. Pattern 2. We'll just we'll do a simple boom, 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 boom on the first of every gray notes. And then for the snare, just do it on the first of every red. So now we're gonna turn this into a hip hop track. So we're slowing it down, taking out some drums here, kind of minimalizing what we've put on the board so far, and now it'll sound like hip hop. That's almost filthy. There's something weird about it, but that almost made me want to just freestyle rap over that. It's getting there. You got to tweak a lot of stuff. You don't want to overthink it. Sometimes that's one of the hardest things about producing. It always feels like you can do more and more and more and more and more, but at a point you got to be like, all right. Let's find a snare instead. Alright, now we have some boom bap. Simple as that. Boom bap is very fun to make. And it's, if you're sampling old records, it's one of the easiest ways you can make a sample completely unrecognizable. Like, I don't think anybody could guess this is Santana. Maybe the bells and stuff would give it away, but I highly doubt it. Alright, I'm gonna save this because I like this version the best. Santana... Snatana? Okay, well, since it's a mistype, it's kind of funny, so I'm gonna save it as Snatana. File save project. Alright, so we got Snatana here. Alright, so now that we have kind of structure of a beat going on, and we've built all these patterns together. You can hold right click, maybe make the sample play first. Maybe have it play out a little longer with a hi-hat coming in. What's also fun is that when you have these little triplet hi-hats together, there's this swing bar. I don't know if the newer FL studios have this bar, but this one's kind of fun to play with. So let's drag it about halfway, and you'll hear the hi-hat sound a little different. Kind of gives it a little more bounce. I like it about halfway. Gives it a good bounce. So yeah, we got a beat. That's it. Oh, well, I should probably do a little bit more of this tutorial. So I'll just make I'll do like a speed run trap beat because I wanted to explain 808 glides. 808 glides definitely spice up the track. So here, let's hit new, file new. We'll just make a speed run a trap beat real quick. Let's find a sample. And sometimes samples come in sound kits and you can just fit them very easily. Sometimes it takes like no effort at all. Like, let's listen to this. Oh, okay. So these samples, sometimes the samples are already cut. This one is not. So we'll do what we did before. Hard sample. Oh my goodness. So now that we got that cut, remember that time knob, fit it to 4 bars. Let's see how it sounds. Sometimes it doesn't sound good. Okay, it's a little fast. But then once you have it time stretched, when you listen to this. So I just dragged the tempo, but When I'm fixing the tempo, you can hear the sample slowing down when you have it time stretched with that knob. Okay, I like that, but I want the sample a little slower, so let's cut it in half. So maybe right here, I think, is the half point. Okay, that loop sounds good. So we'll just experiment. We'll do a 4-bar with this one instead. That's a little too slow. Alright, well let's stick with the first one just to get things moving here. Alright, so click that. Click the sample you want. Right click to link to the track. Bring down the bass because I want to add bass. Kind of give it that elevator music type feel. Oh, and also, so when you're on the pencil tool here, you can click, click, click. But if you're putting down a bunch of patterns like this, it's much easier to just use the paintbrush, because you can click and hold, and it'll go zoop, like that. It'll go zoop. Paintbrush is much. If you're painting a bunch of the same if you're if you're painting a bunch of the same pattern, it's easier to use the paintbrush and click and hold. That way you don't have to click, 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 and find the right spot. It just auto clicks it out much faster. Alright, so now we got this pattern. This is our song so far. So we got a nice loop. We'll go to pattern 2, add in some kicks. Sometimes I like to throw stuff on the master channel, like a blood overdrive pumps up the track quite a lot. Sometimes you got to play with it though, it doesn't always work. And we'll just use Rich Beats drum kit because I'm sure. Yeah, those are pretty. Geez, those are some punchy kicks. So we'll switch this to a 16 bar, give it some variation, maybe like a. Just mess with it. Oops, not that. Don't do that one. That probably won't sound very good. Sometimes 5 spaces in between each note sounds good for kicks when you're making trap. So we'll paint that. Kicks are down. Hi-hats. I like these random Pokemon. Sometimes you'll come across drum loops. It's kind of nice sometimes. I like to add a drum loop, but then like time stretch it. We'll get back to that later. We'll time stretch that for now. I'm not really liking these hi-hats. That's why you want other drum kits. I also have my sound kit, which has a lot of stuff. Do that hi-hat. 16 bars. I like to put things on 16 bars a lot. Alright, so for hi-hats, are fun. You can right click the piano roll. Oh, somebody's calling me. What the heck? All right, for hi-hats, you can also use the same tools, the pencil and the paint tools. I like to add faster hi-hats. Third step hi-hats are nice. It's nice to make them real small, then click so it's copied. Oops. And then you can do the paint to just swipe it across like that. This is the velocity, so this determines the volume of it. So here, I'll play it real quick. So you'll hear it kind of panning. And just, yeah, just mess around with it. Okay, that's enough of that. Hi-hats, kicks, hi-hats, and then obviously a nice snare. Ooh, that drill snare, oh my god. Drill beats do have some nice drums. That snare is disgusting. So I put it on the first of every gray for every, well, it looks like that. You'll get the hang of it. And then we want some bass. This is what I wanted to talk about the most. So I use this 808. I have it 808 parentheses fave. It's a nice deep 808, but there is some versatility with this 808. This one sounds very nice bended, like when you're doing the bending technique. The glide technique, as a lot of people call it. There's a lot of names for it. So we'll start out with the, oops. Start out with a basic 808 pattern here. Okay, so now we have a bass pattern going. So this button right here, I remember this button. I call it the Dorito chip, just because it's a little, it just looks like a Dorito chip. So click that. So now when you're in piano roll, you'll see the Dorito chip has infected this note. You can see the little Dorito chip icon inside of this note. Now this is a glide note. So and glides can go up, down, all sorts of crazy stuff. So here's what it sounds like. And the longer it is, the more it'll glide. So yeah, that's a very fun thing to know in FL Studio. Definitely pay attention to this Dorito chip. I think it's the same in FL21 as well. But remember that, because not only can you do it with bass, you can do it with basically anything in FL Studio. Like if it's a sample or like a note, you can also use the glide tool, which is very fun. You can make melodies go wee, wee, wee. It's fun. Alright, I don't know how this is gonna sound. This bass is not gonna work. I gotta rework it a little bit. So we'll go. We'll just see how it sounds. And then vocals. Vocals can be tricky. I like to just cut loops because sometimes the vocals don't work like that. Sometimes they're picky.
Go crazy! Go stupid!
Lick on the nuts of my disc, Nick.
Kicking in dope for kilos, not no motherfucking
Orange ass nigga, I'm just tired of this talk. You running your mouth and you go
Bitch.
Oh boy. Oh my god. I forgot I had these.
I gotta touch him.
sitting back, get on my dick, so swishers full of that thing.
Swishers full of that dank. Food quit hogging that ash. Trickster, and I'm right.
Time for me to act.
Lock you in the fucking trunk.
Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the caterpillars, we're stealing it. Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go.
I don't know how long this sample is. This might be too long of a sample.
Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the caterpillars. We stealing and dealing and stuff like the feelings. We selling them drugs.
Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the caterpillars. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the feelings. We're selling them drugs, it's done by the thugs. Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the caterpillars. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the feelings. We're selling them drugs, it's done by the thugs.
Creeping up slow with
Shit.
Side.
Oh no. Twitter vocals? Oh man.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, boy!
Sorry.
Pistol packing, never slacking, bitch killer. Pistol packing.
Shout say daddy got a triple beam scale.
creeping up slow with no clue what I'm
Shit.
Pistol.
Creeping, never sleeping, ducking and diving as I do my thing. Creeping, never sleeping, ducking and diving as
Man, this vocal I have almost works.
Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the capillars. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling up drugs, it's done by the thugs. Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the capillars. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling up drugs, it's done by the thugs.
creeping, never sleeping, ducking and diving as creeping, never sleeping, ducking and diving as I do my thing. Creeping, never sleeping, ducking and diving as I do my thing.
Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the capillars. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling up drugs, it's done by the thugs. Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the capillars. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling up drugs, it's done by the thugs. Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the capillars. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling them drugs, it's done by the thugs. Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the capillars. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling them drugs, it's done by the thugs. Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the capillars. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling up drugs, it's done by the thugs.
Hentai crash. Well, now we're talking. Little Tykes crash. Alright, here's what we got. Oh, obligatory love filter. It's been done 100 trillion times, but why not?
Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the capillars. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling up drugs, it's done by the thugs.
Just because you said it, now I have to add more. Perhaps the best track of 2024.
Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the cap killers. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling them drugs, it's done by the thugs.
Fire.
Creeping up slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the cap killers. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling them drugs, it's done by the thugs.
That's a wrap. Alright, well. I mean, that was fun. I don't know what else I could talk about for tutorial stuff. Basically talked all the basics. Oh, this is also very important. Very important. Go to channels. Go to channels and click Fruity Dance. This is very important. You need somebody dancing to your stuff. This is FL Chan.
Slow with no clue what I'm doing, cause killers and dealers go with the cap killers. We're stealing and dealing, it's done by the villains. We're selling them drugs, it's done by the thugs.
Alright, I think that's a wrap. If anyone wants to collab on that, I can send you the FLP if you want to finish it. I don't know if I'll ever put that out, but if somebody wants to collab on it. Beat for Cass. Alright, this is a beat I was making for my lovely fiance. I haven't showed her it yet. I'm not very good at EDM, house, any of that stuff. I'm basically just a trap and hip hop guy, so. pretty much it. What else was I working on? I think she'll like that one though. I think it's good enough to show her.
There's a God in you. Be sure to bring it.
Alright. What else I got? I need to reinstall Nexus. Oh no. Do I have the... No, I don't. Damn. Would you like to have the content library find those files? You want to make a guitar beat? Dude, yeah, there's nothing like a guitar beat. I need to start uploading stuff to my burner. Or I don't know what I should call it. It's not my burner account, it's just my alternate account, I guess. Oh man, this beat. I never get tired of this beat. is a hella old EP.
So say it is never the savage, I ravish with third degree burns over skin. When I look in the hearts of the men, I saw session the venture, arty and legal within. Outside the roller, your skull, your habit, devotion, you're feeling that after like forces. Your soul is chosen, skin turns cold, effects of rigor mortis, soaring into orbit. All the voltage you absorbed it, and it may seem kind of morbid. Sing your uncles in the morgue, mortuary, somewhere lying in the prairie, where they all are buried. Hoping there's some fairy come take you somewhere where it ain't scary, but on the contrary, you're in the hands of the one they call Lucifer now. You can cry much as you want, you can yell, scream and shout, but there's no way your ass getting out. I am no infamous murder through the Middle Ages on up to the day. If it's not all the particles of all the people I slayed with blizzard on up to your ways.
The man, get the put your money back to get what you push on it. One thing that put you different as a rag. Cause I'm ass one the mother back at the body, big commander of a car. You do the man, get the put your money back to get what you push on it. One thing that put you different as a rag. Cause I'm
this song. This is the best song of the EP. I wish I made this beat so bad.
This right here is my swag. All the girls are on me. Damn. Everybody pay attention. This right here is my pretty boy swag.
How to make rage beat. I'll learn how to make rage beats. I like those.
Yo, what's up? Let's make some beats that match my followers' profile pics. Today's theme, rage beats. No sponsors today. Like the video. Rage beats are a pretty interesting subgenre in the overall trap sphere. They tend to go all in with these synth-driven melodies and these crunchy and distorted trap drums. The sound is so typically loud and in your face that it almost feels overly produced, sharing a lot of similarities with genres like hyperpop and future bass, which actually makes a lot of sense when you look at the namesake for rage beats, Trippie Redd's Miss the Rage, a song that was produced around a future bass sample. I love the overall aesthetic and texture these type beats have as well. They have these very metallic and otherworldly feel and gives a lane to a completely different vibe in trap music. In a way, the rage beat formula forced trap producers to use sounds they probably would have never used 3 or so years ago, and it's pretty cool to see in real time how these trends can change. So today, we're gonna make some rage beats that were inspired by my followers' profile pics. Remember to leave a like for your boy and help me come up with a title for these videos in the comments, because I still don't know what to call them. There were a couple good suggestions in the last video, like profile pic bangers, photophonics, or my personal favorite, beating my followers.
What do you mean by that?
First, beat. This first profile pic was a follower on my TikTok, and this pic just looked so interesting to me. I think it perfectly captures everything you'd feel in a rage beat, you know? It's loud, vibrant, and energetic. So I'm gonna make a pretty standard rage beat to match. I'm thinking super saw melodies, a thumpy 808, and some sharp trap drums. For my song, I'm using these super saw synths in Vital. Of course, you could use plugins like Serum if you have that, but I like to use Vital because it's free. Most of the effects like compression, reverb, and some EQ were done in the plugin already, but I added some EQ just to cut the lows. Rage beats also use these loud synth leads to play alongside the chords, so I'm using this harmless preset and I played this melody.
Okay, have harmless. Nice. Cuckoo. Well, I think I just want to play some games now, so GG on the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I want to get into Rage very soon. I'll have to watch more of that guy's videos. I think I'm just going to play some games now and unwind. Maybe I'll stream. Screw it.